So yeah, today NBA teams were able to trade with each other. There's two trades that have been done. The first one I want to talk about is the Lakers have traded Danny Green, their 2020 first round pick, for Dennis Schroder. I have read reports that says that OKC does not want to keep Danny Green, so there might be a third team involved to find a team for Danny Green. But as far as the Lakers go, Dennis Schroder was my sixth man of the year last year. I thought he should have won sixth man of the year, so I have him rated pretty highly. He's a dynamic point guard. He's super, super quick. From his time in Atlanta, you could just tell he's a fast point guard. He could move the ball up the court really, really fast. Last year, he shot 41% in catch and shoot threes. So he's a good point guard. He's quick. He could shoot from the three. He's good from catch and shoot. He could play off ball. Like, I know LeBron dominates the ball a lot, so he could definitely play off the ball. And it looks like Rondo's going to leave in free agency. I'm reading a lot of reports. It says that Rondo is looking to cash out. He played good last season, so I don't blame him for trying to get some more money, some more dough at the end of his career. But if that is the case, if he was to leave the Lakers, shout out Rondo. He had a great season last year. He was one of the cogs for the Lakers getting that championship and having a great playoff run. So shout out to Rondo for his service. And I don't blame him for trying to get a little more money at the end of his career. But Dennis Schroder, I think this is a great trade for the Lakers. He's young. I believe he's like 26 years old. He just had his best season in his NBA career. In my opinion, he should have won sixth man of the year. And if you're giving away Danny Green on a contract that's paying him, I believe, $16 million a year, and your first round pick, which is a super late first round pick, I believe the Lakers have the 28th overall pick. So if you're giving up the 29th overall pick and Danny Green for Dennis Schroder, that's a great deal in my opinion. I applaud Pelinka for pulling that trade off. And then after that, the Lakers are rumored to be interested in Wesley Matthews and Serge Ibaka. I think those are great signings. If the Lakers are able to pull all these moves off, I think they will firmly position themselves as a candidate to repeat. I think Vegas already has them as the favorites. I agree with that. But if you add Wesley Matthews, he can shoot the 3-2, and he's still a pretty good perimeter defender. And Serge Ibaka is just a great energy guy. He could play the 5. He could play the 4. In the playoffs last year, he was shooting the 3 rather good. So Serge Ibaka, Wesley Matthews, and trading for Dennis Schroder, I think that's a great offseason for the Lakers. I think it adds the type of players that they need. They don't really have the assets to trade for like a big star. But Schroder, Wesley Matthews, Serge Ibaka, maybe a couple more players to fill out the roster that could shoot the 3. I think that would be great additions for the Lakers. It would position. I think they all fit really good with LeBron and AD. Like Serge Ibaka could definitely play next to AD. Like he's able to at least space out the floor somewhat. He's not like a black hole as a 3-point shooter. And Wesley Matthews, he's getting a little older. He did have that Achilles injuries, I believe, like 3 years ago. But I think he's over it. He's still a quality player. That would be a good addition. And then you still have Caruso, and it looks like they're gonna be able to keep KCP. Solid rotations as the Lakers, and you still have LeBron. You still have AD, 2 top 5 players, 2 All NBA players. So it's looking like it's a good offseason for the Lakers. I like these moves. I don't really find a fault in them. There was other rumors that they were trying to move Kuzma and somebody else for the Spurs players. What's his name? I forgot his name. But they were trying to trade for. They're trying to move Kuzma to another team, and now, as of like 30 minutes ago, from when I started recording this, Kuzma just deactivated his Twitter. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's going somewhere. DeMar DeRozan, that's the player that the Lakers were rumored to be getting. I don't know about that one. He has 1 year left on his big contract, so I don't know how the numbers will work out. And he can't shoot the 3. He's a mid-range shooter, so I'm just scared that he's gonna clog up the paint for AD. And LeBron's 3-point shot has gotten better over the years, but it's still not like super consistent. He could go on stretches where he gets cold from 3-point line, and then there has been scenarios where teams just back off him and clog the paint, and they just dare him to shoot the 3. So my worry, the worst case scenario is We traded some of our shooters, some of our defenders to get DeRozan, and then LeBron has a cold streak from 3, and then AD could get streaky from 3 too, and then now you just have a bunch of players that aren't really that good from the 3-point line, and DeRozan won't even attempt 3-point shots. I think he shot 1 3-pointer every 2 games last year. So, I mean, he is a good player. Don't get me wrong. DeRozan's still a quality player. He could maybe make an all-star, but he's I don't like the fit with the Lakers. So I'd much rather they get Dennis Schroder. I think that was a more sounder safe that fits the team better. So if they do pull off this trade, I think they're holding off the trade till Wednesday because they're trying to find another team. And then on Wednesday, the NBA draft is happening. So what might happen is the Lakers just talk to OKC, and then OKC tells them who they want to draft, and the Lakers end up drafting that player, and then they finish the trade after the draft. So that's how it looks like it's going to play out. As far as OKC, they just keep piling picks. I think they have 17 picks from here on to 2027. They have a good GM. He's probably the best in the business. I'm pretty excited to see what they do with those picks. It looks like pretty soon they're going to have to package some of those picks for a player, because 17 picks in 6 years and a roster size of, I believe, like 15. You're not going to be able to draft. You're not going to be able to keep all those picks and draft every single player because there's just not enough space in their team. So I'm pretty excited to see how OKC goes about to using these picks, how they package them to get some players, but they really position themselves to make a big trade or two in the future. Where I can see them packaging like 3 or 4 first-round picks and just going after somebody like pretty good. So we have to see and wait and see what they do in the next couple of years, but they're definitely positioned themselves to be a contender maybe 5-6 years from now after they make some moves. But OKC, can't fault them. They got a good year out of Dennis Schroder, good year or two, and now they're flipping him, and good trade for the Lakers too.